Hello there. In this video, I will be walking through the various methods I've gathered together for the purpose of speeding up your computer in order to squeeze out every bit of performance you can out of your machine. Now, without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Now, the first thing you want to do is to go to your desktop and open up your recycle bin. Once you have it open, you'll want to decide which files you no longer need. Select these files, right-click, delete, and hit yes. After that, go to your Start menu and search Add or Remove Programs. Now, just like in the recycle bin just now, here you'll want to select apps and programs that you no longer use or need. Now, once you've picked them, just click on them and then run through the uninstall process. Head on back to your Start menu and search up Defragment and Optimize Drives. Now just select each one of the storage devices you see, which in my case there's only one. But in case there's multiple for you, make sure you do the same process for each one. Now once you're here, press Optimize and just wait for it to finish. Basically, what this does is it speeds up your boot time, meaning it'll shorten the amount of time it takes for your PC to start up when powering it up. Now go back to your Start menu and search Disk Cleanup. Now, if ever you see anything listed here that is important to you, that you want to keep, make sure to leave them unchecked. And once you've decided which to keep and which not to, select everything that you want to clear out, hit OK, and delete files. Now, while this may seem a little intimidating, pretty much all the things shown here are temporary files that pile up on your computer that are safe to remove. We then go back again to our desktop, press Windows plus R. Once you've done this, it'll open up a search bar where you then type in temp. Hit OK, and it'll show us this menu. Now, what this does is show us even more temporary files that need to be cleared out. Select them all, right-click, and then delete. If it ever stops you from deleting everything, just click on Do This for All Current Items, and hit Skip. Now, for this step, right-click on your taskbar and select Task Manager. Go to Startup, and look for any programs that you don't need to open up when you start up your computer. Now by disabling these, it'll speed up your boot time, not having to launch so many apps as soon as your computer turns on. Also make sure to limit the amount of programs running at the same time, as it consumes precious resources, which will slow down your computer. Now go back to your Start menu and type in Adjust the Appearance and Performance of Windows. Click on it, and once you're there, look through the options listed and click on Adjust for Performance. What this does is it cuts down on animations that play when opening and scrolling through programs, which remove shadows and other visual effects to make things run easier. Now, if the text looks a bit fuzzy and that bothers you, keep this box checked. Now after this, open up your Start menu and click on Settings, go to System, and then scroll down until you see Graphic Settings. Click on it and turn on Hardware Accelerated GPU Scheduling. For this step to apply, you must restart your computer afterwards for it to take effect. Now for the last step, go back to your Start menu and search Choose a Power Plan. Right now it's set on balance mode, which gives you a good balance of performance and battery life. Now what you do next is click on the drop-down menu and select High Performance Mode. Keep in mind that while this does give you a boost in performance, it'll also make your PC run hotter and the battery to run out faster. If you want even more performance, there's another setting higher than this, which is Ultimate Performance Mode. But you'll have to use Command Prompt for that, which I won't be including in this video. However, I will leave a link in the description for those who want steps on it. Now that you've done this, we can now head on over to the hardware side of the video. The following segment will be dedicated to giving out potential solutions to physical issues that have been brought up by the respondents from my tech survey. And while most of the concepts that I'll be mentioning are dedicated to desktop computers, it does touch up on some laptop alternatives. So the focus for this part will be overheating. Overheating happens when your computer's internal cooling system is unable to effectively expel hot air produced by its components. It prevents your computer from functioning at full capacity, leaving it slow and unresponsive. Nowadays, most modern computers have a built-in function that automatically slows or even shuts themselves down in order for the heat to dissipate. Now, there are many reasons why your computer may be overheating, but in a hardware perspective, there are three main culprits: dried up thermal compound, dust buildup, and bad airflow. Now, how can you tell if your computer has bad airflow? The case and fans would be the main thing you'll want to look at for this. The PC I'm currently showing is an example of good airflow. As you can see, it has a mesh front panel, which allows the fans to suck in fresh cold air into the PC, as well as exhaust fans to expel hot air out of it. If the walls around your computer are mostly solid, without room for air to come in from and to come out from, then chances are it's not a very good case, like the one being shown. The fan layout here is also very optimal, as it has the same amount of intake fans and exhaust fans. This allows for air to enter and exit the PC in a straight line from the fans to the exhaust, as well as having the remaining two fans at the top follow the concept behind convection. That being hot air rising, naturally moving up to the top fans to be released from the PC. Having 3 fans in your computer, with 2 set to intake and 1 exhaust, is usually enough for most cases. For as long as you have a mesh front panel and cutouts for exhaust, the fan should have no trouble cooling your computer properly. Now, in order to achieve this, you can either spend or you don't. For those not willing to spend, if you don't have a case that has good airflow, you can always run the computer with a side cover off. As for fans, you can reposition what you have so you could have at least 1 intake and 1 exhaust. As for laptops, make sure not to place them on cloth or carpeted surfaces, as these materials may obstruct or even jam the vents of your laptop. Instead, you'll want to find a solid surface like your desk instead. For those who are willing to spend, you can buy a better case with a mesh front and top panel. You'd preferably want to get a mid-tower case since it has enough room for most components without being too big. For fans, you want to get ones with high RPM set in the same configuration as mine if possible. I recommend getting the Arctic P12 PWM PST. They're reliable fans that are relatively cheap, coming in packs of 5. When it comes to the case, I have prepared budget as well as more premium options. For budget options, I recommend the case being shown, which is the Dark Flash DLM21, which at the time of recording is around 2,250 pesos. For more premium options, you could explore more well-known brands such as Fantex, Lee & Lee, and Cooler Master. These cases normally hover at around 3,000 pesos and above. For this price bracket, I recommend the Fantex Eclipse P300A Mesh Edition for 3,199 pesos. It has better build quality, as well as having a front dust filter to reduce dust buildup, and 1-year warranty from Shopee and Lazada. As for laptops, you can always opt to buy a cooling pad. A cooling pad pulls away hot air coming out from the bottom of the laptop, as well as elevating it, giving it more space for the fans to blow air out. Do make sure that your laptop has fans underneath it, as if it doesn't, it really won't be able to serve its purpose. As for where you can get these parts, they're available online on both Shopee and Lazada. For physical outlets, you can explore shops such as PC Express, DynaQuest, and EasyPC. And for installation, you can either follow tutorials online on how to swap cases and install new fans, or you can bring your PC and the parts you've bought to the physical stores that I've mentioned, or they can do it for you for a small fee. For the next part, I'll be discussing dust buildup and how to properly clean it out. For this, you'll be needing a toothbrush, a bottle of 99% isopropyl alcohol, and a compressed air can if you have one. Before proceeding, make sure to shut down your computer and unplug it from the outlet. After that, make sure to remove all the wires connected to the PC itself. The first thing you'll want to do is remove the side panel to gain access to the inside. Now, before we do anything else, I'll be warning you that opening up your PC is your own responsibility, and I will not be liable for any damages that may occur. The first thing you need to do is to pull out your compressed air can and blast away at all the visible dust inside your computer. I myself am using an air pump for this, as it's a good alternative that I have on hand. When using it on fans, including those on your CPU cooler and GPU, make sure not to blast at them for too long, as making them spin can generate electricity that can damage your computer. Once you can no longer see any dust flying around, take your toothbrush and scrub the walls of the case and blades of the fans to remove any remaining dust. Aside from the motherboard, you can scrub most of the components as long as you do it lightly. If ever you find them difficult to clean, add some 99% isopropyl alcohol onto the brush to help break down dust and debris. Once finished, wait for about an hour for it to dry. As for laptops, I recommend bringing it to the shop that you bought it from to have it deep cleaned. Cleaning the external vents found on the sides and the bottom may help somewhat alleviate the buildup, but once the internal cooling system is also filled with dust, it really won't make a difference anymore. Opening up a laptop yourself may cause you to void its warranty, as well as damage the intricate parts that are housed inside. So I really do advise having a professional do it for you instead. The last reason your computer could be overheating would be dried up thermal paste. Thermal paste is a substance that goes in between your CPU cooler and your CPU in order to maximize heat transfer to properly cool it. If you've had your PC for 3 or more years now, this is certainly something you should look into. Given enough time, the high temperature of your CPU can cause your thermal paste to dry up and solidify, which can negatively affect heat transfer, leading to your CPU running hotter. If your computer falls under these conditions, you might want to consider replacing your thermal paste. You can either buy your own and apply it yourself with the help of online tutorials, or visit one of the computer stores that I've mentioned and have them do it for you for a small fee. If you're looking for more budget options, I recommend buying thermal paste from brands such as Deepcool and Arctic. But to those who want the best cooling, you can opt to buy from brands such as Noctua and Thermal Grizzly for more premium options. This allows for your computer to run more smoothly under load without overheating and having to slow itself down. The same also applies for laptops. Most shops offer free thermal paste replacement as long as your laptop is still within warranty. If not, you'll have to pay a small fee for labor. And that about does it for the many different things that you can do in order to speed up your computer. Links for all the products mentioned can be found in the description down below. If you have any other questions or clarifications, feel free to leave a comment and I'll answer you to the best of my ability. Thanks for watching.